Our parsha begins with a commandment. Shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha b'chol sha'arecha. You have to appoint judges and law enforcement officials in all of your cities. The judges, they're the ones that are there to adjudicate, to listen to litigation, to criminal cases, to render a verdict. The shotrim, the policemen, have to make sure that the law is kept and that the verdicts that are handed down by the courts are in fact enforced. And this is something that every society ensures that they have. They have a legal system, a judicial system, and they have law enforcement. In fact, this is a law that applies not just to Jews, but to all of the nations. This is one of the Sheva mitzvot b'nei Noach, one of the 7 commandments that was given to Noah and his sons, to all humanity. There were 6 negative commandments and 1 positive commandment, to set up places of law and justice, to administer justice. And every country has this to a greater or lesser extent. But the Torah could mean something else. Not just that there should be judges and policemen in all cities, but it's actually referring to the human being. Shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha b'chol sha'arecha. You are to set up judges and policemen in all of your cities. But the word sha'arecha actually means a gate. We have many gates to our bodies. That means places that allow things to get in or to come out. We have the mouth. The mouth allows food in, it allows speech out. The eyes allow images to come through to the mind. The ears allow sound to come through, voices to come through. And here the Torah says that on each of these gates, you need to have a shofet, a judge, and you need to have a shoter, a policeman. Before you let something in, you have to have a little trial going on in your mind, considering whether this is positive. So, for example, when it comes to food, you're about to eat something that looks absolutely delicious. You have to have a little trial going on in your mind. But is it kosher? Should I be eating it? And even if it is kosher, is it perhaps unhealthy? In which case I shouldn't eat it. The same thing applies when it comes to smell. Is it appropriate to smell something? Is it appropriate to be, for example, the Talmud tells us you're not allowed to say Torah, words of Torah, if there's a terrible smell, an odor around, in which case you'll have to move around, move away from the odor. When it comes to speech, you're sitting and you're listening to something, some juicy gossip. You have to have a trial going on in your mind. Is this something that's appropriate to listen to? And if not, then you have to employ the policeman. And the policeman will guard the gates. And it's very interesting. The Talmud says, why is it that we were created with earlobes? So that if you hear some Lashon Hara, you can simply just push your earlobe up into your ear. Why were the fingers created in a way that they taper off? They're not a regular width the whole way across. Again, so that when you're listening to Lashon Hara, you can stick it in your ear. And moreover, says the Talmud, that the tongue is something that can cause a great deal of damage. It is one of the most dangerous items on a human being. You can kill somebody with words. And that is why our sages tell us that the tongue was created with 2 gates before it can come out, so to speak. There's a gate of bone, the teeth, and there's a gate of flesh, the lips. Before the tongue can get out, it has to penetrate through those 2 gates. God was teaching us something, that you have to think a lot before you say something. And here, first think about it, and once you've made that decision, employ the policeman to stand in control of your gates. So yes, it may be true that this is a mitzvah that's given to the entire community as a whole, that they have to have justices, they have to have policemen, but each and every one of us is a city, a microcosm. And there's a lot of information that's coming in, and specifically today with the internet, there's just enormous amounts of information. We need a filter, and that filter is the shofet, the judge. And where will we find the law? The law is in the Torah. The Torah tells us what Lashon Hara is and what Lashon Hara isn't. The Torah tells us what's kosher and what isn't kosher. And then, and it's sometimes difficult, we have to employ and we have to send out those shotrim, those policemen, to make sure that that negative information or that bad food or that non-kosher food or that word that we shouldn't be hearing doesn't come into our gates. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.